My name is Ethan, and I grew up in a quiet suburb near Portland, Oregon. From as early as I can remember, I was the responsible one. I got straight A's cleaned up after dinner without being asked, helped dad with the yard work, and even tutored kids at my school. But no matter how much I did, my parents' eyes were always on my little sister, Lily. Lily was loud, impulsive, and the center of every room. She could spill juice on the carpet and they'd laugh. If I forgot to take out the trash one day, it was like I'd committed a crime. The moment I truly realized something was wrong was on my 16th birthday. I came home from school, expecting at least a small cake, maybe a happy birthday banner. But the house was quiet. Mom and Dad were watching TV. Lily didn't even look up from her phone. I waited. You thought maybe they were planning a surprise. They weren't. No cake, no gift, not even a happy birthday, Ethan. I went to my room and stared at the ceiling all night, wondering what I'd done wrong, but deep down, I already knew it wasn't about me. It never was. By the time I turned 17, I had stopped expecting anything from my parents. Every accomplishment of mine was met with a nod or, at best, a dry good job. Meanwhile, Lily got a standing ovation for simply passing her math class when she got her first part-time job at a boutique downtown. Mom baked her a 3-layer cake. When I got accepted into the National Honor Society, they didn't even mention it at dinner. Once, I overheard Dad on the phone bragging about Lily's charm and how she'd go far because people just love her. He never spoke about me like that. In fact, he rarely spoke about me at all. I started saving money from tutoring and doing odd jobs. I didn't tell anyone. It was the only thing that felt like mine. Then came Lily's 18th birthday. Our living room was filled with balloons, music, and dozens of guests. She wore a brand new dress, and everyone fawned over her like she was royalty. That night, my parents handed her the keys to a car. Not just any car, a brand new white Audi. Then Dad announced, and there's more. The house your aunt left us. It's yours now, sweetheart. I felt like the floor disappeared under my feet. No one noticed me standing there, gripping a paper plate with half-eaten cake. Not even Lily. She just smiled, glanced at me, and said with a smirk, "Don't be jealous, Ethan." That night, I didn't sleep. He lay awake, staring at the ceiling, the sounds of laughter from Lily's party still echoing in my ears. Everyone downstairs was celebrating her. Always her. I thought about every time I had swallowed my feelings, every chore done without thanks, every moment I wished they'd just see me. And now they had handed her everything while forgetting my birthday year after year. But that smirk, that one smirk from Lily pierced deeper than all the silence combined. It said everything. I didn't belong in that house. So I quietly packed a small duffel bag with clothes, my notebooks, and the cash I'd had saved over the years. Nearly $6,000 from tutoring, helping neighbors, fixing computers. I had no plan, just one thought. I'm leaving, and I'm never coming back. At 2 a.m., I slipped out the front door. The house was quiet now, the party over, but my heart was racing. I didn't even leave a note. They probably wouldn't notice I was gone until breakfast. I took the first bus to the city. Portland wasn't New York or LA. But to me, it was a new world, buzzing, alive, and full of strangers who didn't know I was the forgotten child. I had nothing except a bag and a dream to prove I could make it without them, and somehow in that moment, it felt like enough. We found a small room to rent in the city, a cramped basement apartment with no windows and a flickering light in the hallway, but it was mine. The first space I ever had that felt like freedom, even if the walls were stained and the mattress was thin during the day. I worked at a bookstore downtown. It didn't pay much, but I loved the smell of old pages, the quiet hum of people searching for stories. At night, I studied online marketing design, anything I could find for free. I was building something, even if I didn't know what it was yet. Months passed. I stopped checking my phone for missed calls. There weren't any. Lily posted pictures of her Audi, her new house, her weekends in wine country. She looked happy, but for the first time in my life, I didn't feel like I had to compare myself to her. One day, my boss at the bookstore noticed a flyer id. Designed for a local poetry night. You made this, he asked. It's clean, professional. Ever thought about doing this full time? That moment stuck with me. That night, I started building a portfolio, logos, posters, mock brands. I offered free work to small cafes and musicians. Soon word spread. I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was creating, and slowly I began to realize something no one had ever told me before. I had value, even if my parents never saw it. By the time I turned 21, I had my own small creative agency. Nothing big, just a name, a website, and a list of clients who trusted me. I worked out of a corner in my apartment with second-hand equipment and a borrowed desk, but every project felt like proof that I mattered. People respected me for my work. They paid me, thanked me, recommended me. It was all I ever wanted, really, to be seen. One evening, I was walking home from a meeting with a local business owner when I passed a family on the street. A dad was holding his son's hand, listening carefully as the boy talked about school, just a normal moment. But it hit me so hard, I had to stop for a second. I realized I had been chasing that scene my whole life. Someone to hear me, to hold space for me, the way that man did for his son, and yet, despite everything I didn't get, I was still standing stronger, kinder, clearer. I wasn't just the forgotten son anymore. I was a man building a future that belonged to me, and oddly enough, I didn't hate my parents. I didn't even hate Lily. I just didn't need them anymore. That realization felt like the final thread snapping loose. Freedom wasn't loud, it was quiet. Like walking through a city at night with nothing to prove to anyone. It was a rainy Thursday when my phone buzzed with a number I didn't recognize. I almost ignored it. Spam calls were common, but something made me answer. Ethan, the voice was hesitant, unsure. It's Mom. For a second, I couldn't breathe. I hadn't heard her voice in over 3 years. She paused. We were wondering how you've been, Lily told us. She saw your design work online. She said it's really good. My throat tightened, Lily. She had never even liked my drawings growing up. Now she was recommending me. We'd love to see you sometime, Mom continued. You know, if you're ever near home, that word didn't feel like it used to. It wasn't a warm place in my memory, it was a shadow. Still, something in me softened. Not because I missed them, but because I no longer needed their approval. I told her I was doing well. I told her about the agency, the city, my life. She listened quietly for once. She didn't interrupt or change the subject to Lily. Then she said, "We're proud of you, Ethan." It didn't heal everything, it didn't erase the years, but it was something. After we hung up, I sat in silence, staring at my reflection in the dark screen of my laptop. Not because I was waiting for more, but because I finally felt like I had closure. A year passed since that phone call. We didn't become a happy family overnight. There were no teary reunions, no dramatic apologies. But sometimes Mom sends a message. Sometimes Dad leaves a short comment under my design posts. It's small, but it's honest. I haven't gone back. Not because I'm angry, but because I built something better here, a life of my own last week. I signed a lease on a new apartment, this one with big windows and a view of the city skyline. I bought real furniture. I even framed one of my first logos and hung it by the door. Please trust me, I mentor younger designers now. I remember what it felt like to be invisible, and I make sure no one who works with me ever feels that way. Lily sent me a photo of her newborn daughter a few days ago. "You're an uncle now," she wrote. And oddly, I smiled. Maybe one day I'll meet her. Maybe I'll tell her that sometimes life gives you less than you deserve. Not because you're not worthy, but because you're meant to build something greater on your own. My story isn't about revenge. It's not about proving anyone wrong. It's about discovering who I am when no one's watching and realizing that's enough. And maybe that's what love looks like in the end.